We're going across live. This is Sri Perumdur, where the Bharat Jodo Yatra is being kickstarted by Rahul Gandhi. This, of course, is the memorial of his late father, Rajiv Gandhi, and this is where he will be starting off that nationwide Padyatra, which is going to take about 150 days, and the Congress hopes to join a country that they believe have been divided by polarizing forces. And that's Rahul Gandhi there right at the memorial. Going across to my colleague Pallavi Ghosh for more on this. Very good morning to you, Pallavi. Those visuals coming in on our screen there. Rahul Gandhi paying his respects at his late father's memorial and kickstarting that yatra right from there today. The Bharat Jodo Yatra hopes to revive Congress's hopes of becoming yet again a significant national party. But what do you think could be, do you think the idea could be on par with the execution when it comes to such an ambitious Padyatra?
Well, first of all, he begins on a very emotive note, and as you pointed out, Sri Perumbudur was where his late father, Rajiv Gandhi, former Prime Minister, was assassinated. And over here, the memorial has been set up, and he begins his yatra, which is going to cover 3,500 kilometers, lasting over 5 to 6 months, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. That's the entire idea, with reviving the legacy once again of Nehru-Gandhi dynasty. But more than that, I think he's also trying to make the point that, no matter how much the BJP wants to run down the Gandhi legacy, this is something which is going to be firm and crux to the philosophy of the Congress party and the being of the Congress party. Well, from here, he moves on to garlanding the statue of the Mahatma Gandhi. There's going to be a rally later this evening in Kanyakumari. And technically speaking, the yatra actually begins tomorrow. There are 117 people are going to be with him throughout the entire 5 months of the yatra. He's going to be staying in those mobile containers, which is going to travel with him, and also source local food. So the whole idea is to be frugal, to be rooted to the ground. As to the success, very quickly, Shilpa, if you go through history, there have been yatras who work for politicians. I mean, names like, Advani's Rath Yatra, then you have Mamata Banerjee's Yatra through Shingu, Nandigram, Jagan Mohan Reddy's Sankalp Yatra, which worked for him. So the Congress certainly has pinned its hope. It's a party which has often been accused of armchair politics of late, not hitting the ground. I think he's trying to break that. They're calling it Bharat Jodo Yatra because they're saying that there's so much of division in the society. It's only the Congress which can offer that common thread of unity. But the challenge is going to be daunting for the Congress party because many of the states he's going through are where Congress organization is almost nil, negligible, or very weak. Will he be able to revive that? Will the workers and the party cadre actually be enthused? And bang in the middle of the yatra are going to be two important decisions. One, of course, is the state polls of Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh. Congress needs to win there. If it loses in both the states, it's going to cast a shadow over the yatra. And second, of course, the Congress presidential polls.
Well, Pallavi, as you're rightly mentioning, the presidential polls are also coming up. And Rahul will really have to prove himself in this yatra if he is to be selected the presidential face. And it looks like that very well might be the case, as we've been seeing in the past. But the party recently saw a big ticket exit, and many of them, the latest being former J&K Chief Minister Ghulam Nabi Azad. And as the BJP has, taunted the party, saying they should be looking at Congress Jodo rather than Bharat Jodo. How are these exits going to be affecting this yatra? And is the Congress working on another strategy, side by side, while they try to do this massive yatra to also contain the party and keep their numbers together?
See, the Congress's official reaction to the exit of, say, Ghulam Nabi Azad and other leaders is that we are not going to let it affect our yatra. We're still going to go on, which is why I think it's going to put even more of a pressure to Congress party to prove itself. The only problem I see is that in the 5 months long yatra, if they are going to be more big ticket profile exits, and when they leave, they criticize Rahul Gandhi's style of politics. That's where the embarrassment comes in. But I don't think the Congress party wants it to affect them. They are going to try and prove a point. And this is where it also matters how many people join in. The whole idea of the yatra is, and I think the first ones, the original ones, was a Dandi March, where Mahatma Gandhi began with a handful of people, but in the entire stretch, people kept on joining him. That's the Congress's plan. When they go through village to village, the route is very marked. They do want people to join in, and then therefore the Congress can project the fact that, look, despite the people leaving, despite the Babs coming in for the BJP, it's the common man which wants to jodo with the yatra. Will that happen? The people actually join in. Will the Congress party be able to build up their momentum? It's going to be a huge challenge. Preparations certainly have been made to that effect. I think we'll just have to wait for a few days. I mean, it's just the beginning. But when it moves to states which are ruled by the BJP, where it doesn't have a strong organization, I think that's where the Yatra is going to face its biggest challenge.
Well, for a family that's been accused of dynastic politics, or of somebody who's been born with a silver spoon and doesn't know the ground reality, in fact, was recently mocked for briefly saying 1 liter of atta also. Is this also a matter of optics for them? The fact that they aren't going to be staying in a hotel, the fact that they're going to be traveling on the road for 150 days, 3,570 kilometers, literally hitting the ground, so as to speak. So is this, perhaps a makeover of sorts for Rahul Gandhi and the party?
Yes, you're right, Shifa. But see, the whole idea of a yatra and the whole definition of a yatra is that you behave like an yatri. And when we see yatras around us, yatris are supposed to lead a very frugal life. I mean, for example, I'm going to give you a quick example of Kavadiya yatras. What kind of a lifestyle are they expected to live when they go on the yatra? You stay overnight on makeshift tents. You have food which is locally produced, nothing very exotic. I think the whole idea of this yatra is something which they want to project. Containers for that matter, which are the mobile vans where he's going to be spending his next almost 5 months over there. The fact that, food is not going to be very exotic. It's going to be simple, locally produced food. And all of those who are traveling with him are also expected to live the same manner. It's going to be a long journey. It's not going to be easy weather conditions. The terrain is not going to be easy. 25 to 30 kilometers is what they're expected to walk daily. I don't know what the weather conditions may not be always very suitable or may not be always very good. I think that's going to be what is going to be put to test. Whether Rahul Gandhi is able to sustain himself, and at the end of the 5 months, when he ends the yatra, how does he emerge as a leader? Will it actually break this tag on him, which is often put on the BJP, by the BJP, that he does a disappearing act? He travels abroad. He's always missing at the time of action. I think that's the message which Rahul Gandhi would want to convey and his party would want to contain. And therefore, that explains why they're going to deliberately project an image of a yatra which is going to be minus all the frills.
Pallavi, the yatra is going to be touching about 20 key places, starting from Kanyakumari, then going across to Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi, Mysuru. In fact, they will be in Karnataka when those Congress presidential poll elections are announced. Then Indore, Ambala, Jammu, Srinagar. Out of these, which place do you think will prove to be their biggest challenge?
But the biggest challenge naturally comes in those places when they touch non-Congress ruled states. And bulk of it is that. I mean, Karnataka is going to be very interesting. Mysuru is considered to be the hub and core of the BJP, so that's been carefully chosen. Indore is going to be another challenge because that's really the core of the BJP pie in Madhya Pradesh. What he says there, how much of people join in very voluntarily, that's going to be one challenge. He goes to only Bulandshahr in Uttar Pradesh. That's also a criticism that key areas have not been touched upon in the first leg of the yatra.